Good morning, Kate. Good morning, Hannah. Welcome home.
Thank you
Welcome
so much. It's lovely to be home and so nice that the sun is out.
Oh,
Yes,
so
we have
lovely.
certainly had our fair share of rain here in Spain.
Yeah.
But you've been in India. Regular viewers will know that Hannah has been missing for a few weeks because you've been living an adventure of a lifetime.
It really was. It really was an adventure of a lifetime. So I've never been to India before, and I'd heard a lot of opinions, some good, some bad. So I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to get. And I mean, it was crazy to start with. It was really crazy. We had so there were, to give you a bit of context, there was 54 of us, 54 women.
Wow.
18 tuk-tuks, auto-rickshaws. And we had to drive them. We had to learn how to drive them.
You had to drive?
Yeah.
Hannah.
And then drive them from the east coast, Chennai, across the country to Goa on the west coast.
How many kilometres was it?
1,200 kilometres.
Wow.
6 days.
Gosh.
And intense driving. It wasn't a holiday, let me tell you.
No.
We were up at like 6:30 every morning for breakfast and the morning briefing, and we were in the tuk-tuks by 7:30, 8 o'clock every morning. We were told, obviously, where we needed to get to, our hotel, a different place each night. And we were relying on Google Maps and the luck of the gods to get us there.
Wow.
We had to try and not kill or hit cows, dogs, school children, all of which just aimlessly walk across motorways. On the first couple of days, you're going, this is crazy. There's vehicles of all sizes coming towards you on a road which is one way, and you're going, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But then by the third day, you just move out the way like everybody else. There's no point getting stressed. There's no such thing as lanes, so there's no such thing as undertaking. You know, people just drive wherever. And in the first morning briefing, the guy said to us, people think in India we drive on the left-hand side of the road. We don't. We drive wherever there is space.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely true.
Mayhem.
You drive where there's space. And at first you're going, oh my goodness. By day 3, you're thinking, yeah, I can get my tuk-tuk between that massive truck and a bus, and off you go.
Wow.
You were actually went with Niikki, Brougham, and Lady B, our lovely astrologer. And explain when you first got there, because your first and only driving lesson was a half an hour each to explain how the tuk-tuk worked.
It was scary. I mean, kudos to Niikki. She got it like that. She was incredible. Because in order to start the thing, I mean, that was complicated enough. So there's only space for the driver in the front and then 2 or 3 people in the back, 3 at a push. And then there's this massive lever to the left that you have to yank up halfway and then yank up again in order to start it. And it was really difficult to do, particularly with your left arm if you're right-handed. Niikki got the hang of it, but she needed to get out of the tuk-tuk and use both arms in order to do it. So while she was doing that, I had to lean forward from the back and do the revving on the right-hand side. So we were like a Formula 1 team in a pit stop. Every time we stalled, Niikki would jump out, do the lever, I'd lean forward, and we all like had our little jobs, and then we would all jump back in the tuk-tuk and off we go. But that first drive at night, getting to the hotel, I wasn't even driving. And when we arrived, we were all like that. I mean, Niikki particularly. It was scary.
Yeah.
You know, all the beeping, we got used to it. But at the beginning, it frightens you.
Yeah, it shocks
and all the
you.
beeps are different. Sometimes it's just a mer, mer. Sometimes it's diddle-oo, diddle-oo. I mean, they're all different noises. And it's a lot for the senses. All the different noises, all the colours. And yeah, it was
right
intense.
or left-hand side drive. It's just wherever you fit. It must have been terrifying.
Yeah.
Very lucky, I think, that you managed to escape without getting any tummy bugs, because this is something, just the different water.
Wow.
Though, I mean, that really, I think, is a big
That's
kudos to all of you.
Definitely.
What were you eating? Curry?
Curry for breakfast, lunch and dinner, pretty much. I mean, there was a slight variety, but I mean, most things were spicy. And even if you said no spice, okay, no spice, it would still be spicy, you know. But I mean, I quite like spicy food, but.
And would you be on the side of the road, or would it be like kind of restaurants or?
Restaurants, we didn't actually do any street food. Because we didn't really see anywhere, to be honest. You know, there wasn't much time or any time to sightsee,
explore.
and I mean we were literally focused on the task at hand, and if you got distracted sightseeing, that could add an extra half hour to your journey, which would mean you're driving in the dark.
Yeah.
And the first few nights we ended up driving in the dark, and after that we said we're not driving in the dark again.
No.
So from that moment on, our goal was just to get to the
Formula
hotel
One
as
driving.
quick as possible. Yeah. So Niikki had to drive that first night in Chennai, which was really frightening because it was, first time driving, and then in a city when it got dark. And then a couple of days later, I had to drive in Bangalore in the dark. And the guy had said at the briefing that morning, he said, "You thought Chennai was bad, Bangalore is worse."
Gosh.
And it was unbelievable. I've never experienced traffic like it. So you're sitting there at a red light, and when you get to the red light, you've got a truck next to you and a bus next to you, but within a few minutes before the lights change, you've had tuk-tuks getting in that gap, a couple of motorbikes getting in that gap, and as you're about to set off when the lights change, you're surrounded by about 10 different vehicles, all veering for the same space in the road.
Gosh.
But yet there was no road rage.
No.
There was no... So the beeping isn't aggressive. It's just to say, "Hi, I'm here. I'd like that little part of the road that you're on. Can you move over, please?" And actually, it all kind of works.
Wow.
There was one moment when there was this massive truck that was overtaking on blind corners going up a hill. And you're thinking, why are they overtaking? I mean, it's madness. And this big truck got faced with a bus coming the other way. Could have hit each other. But they both just braked. Nobody beeped their horn. The truck that's on the wrong side of the road just reversed, got in his side of the road, and off they went. And we thought, if that happened in Spain or the UK, there'd be swearing, beeping, "Hey, what that?" People would be going nuts.
Yeah.
But there was none of that.
Just all
They didn't want to
calmness.
hit each other. They got back to their own lane and carried on their merry little
Organised
way.
chaos. It
is,
Organised
isn't it?
chaos.
It is.
Did you break down
Absolutely
at all?
Loads of times. yeah.
Really? What did you do?
Yeah. Again, the guy said at the first briefing, "You will break down at least once." And we were like, "Really?" And gave us all a toolkit, which had 8 different types of spanners in, a spark plug.
No way.
And Niikki and I went, what do we do with this? And he said, "Well, it enables you to fix what's broken."
No
And we
way.
were like, "What?"
How are you meant to know what's broken?
Quite.
So what did you do?
One of the things that came up, what if something goes wrong with the wheel? We were like, "There's no jack. Why isn't there a jack?" And they said, "Oh, you don't need a jack. You just lift up the
just
tuk-tuk."
lift it.
And we said, "What?" And they demonstrated with 2 strong men getting right underneath the tuk-tuk, lifting it up. One of them's holding one side, one of them's holding another, while the other one changes the wheel.
Were they like also joining you?
Yes,
Exactly.
yes,
Were they following?
and us dainty little women are going, "We can't do that. How are we going to do?" Thankfully, we didn't need to change the wheel, but we did have issues with our spark plug. It kept pinging off. So we got to know the sound of oh, that's the spark plug. So we'd pull over, put the spark plug back
No
on
way.
and carry on.
Oh my gosh. And was it just you and Niikki in the car? In the tuk-tuk?
Two of the days it was just the 2 of us. There was supposed to be 3, but out of 54 women, there was one woman who did have a bad tummy 2 of the days, so she got a taxi. So in those 2 days, they moved the groups around a little bit, and Niikki and I were on our own for 2 days, and it included that longest driving day into Bangalore, which was 268 kilometres
Wow.
just between the 2 of us.
How fast does it go, the tuk-tuk?
At a push, 58 kilometres an hour.
I mean, it's a
But I mean,
slow
that's-
speed to go
that's
a long
really-
way,
isn't it?
I mean, imagine it was all that, a lot of tension because you were like this for a lot of hours.
absolutely. You're like this.
And would you
Yeah.
switch in between, or would you do a couple
Oh
of
yeah,
hours
you
each?
do an hour
Yeah.
or 2 each and then swap.
Wow.
But when it's just the 2 of us, there's no kind of respite because one person's driving. And let me tell you, when you're driving, you're really alert,
Yeah.
concentrating. I mean, as you should be anyway, driving, but particularly in this situation, particularly when you're in a city. And then the other person is navigating.
It's navigating.
And again, everybody made mistakes navigating. If you're coming up to a junction and there's a 90-degree left turn and a 90-degree right turn, that's pretty easy to navigate. But we were coming up to junctions that had 9 different options, including a flyover and a road that's going on the side, and then a right turn here, a right turn here, a right turn there, left turn there. And as you're coming close, you're zooming in, going, "Oh my, which one is it? Which one is it?" And the driver's going, "Am I going left here or right?" And you're going, first left. which left is that? I'm not quite sure. Hold on, as there's cars going past, people beeping the horn.
How scary.
I mean, really quite stressful.
You must have been exhausted at the end of the day, like when you arrived. Yeah.
Definitely.
I think we better explain here. There is an objective to all this. The reason
why would you put yourself through this?
is actually for a lovely cause, in the sense the objective was to raise awareness and funds for vulnerable women in India.
Yes.
Schooling, education, postnatal care.
Yeah.
And I believe that so far the amount raised is like £120,000.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
I mean, that is an outstanding figure, but it was 54 entrepreneurs, so you're all very capable, qualified women who have left their very comfortable days today.
Definitely.
And I think obviously that has struck a chord with many people, because they have, I think, supported really well. 120k.
And we had some amazing press. I mean, I've been very lucky in Spain with my connections in the media, and had a lot of great press here. And then there was an article a couple of days ago in the Times in the UK, which is huge. We had a massive amount of press in India as well. We had like a press conference with about 30 journalists with microphones in our faces, and they did a little question and answer section. We were all over Indian newspapers and television. We were on the BBC, ITV, so the coverage has been crazy.
Exactly. What else did you want?
Well, absolutely magnificent. Are you feeling the IT climate is coming back? What's it like being back home and not being with those other 53 women?
I tell you, it's really strange. So we're all in a WhatsApp group, and everybody's sharing how they've been feeling coming home. Quite a few of women have become ill, colds or flus, things like that. A lot of people, including myself, not so much in the last few days, but certainly in the first few, really emotional.
Yeah.
Really emotional.
You put yourselves through a lot of challenges without processing it, I think, at the time.
Having weird dreams, a lot of us having really vivid dreams. And people have been explaining it for the fact that for like 10 days, our adrenaline levels have been up here.
Yeah.
It's kind of been constant pressure, stress, and then the kind of come down after that is
and you
is
made
a lot.
I mean, in the sense of, it's all very blasé now, but women on their own crossed India.
It was a huge achievement.
Day and night.
Incredible,
in the sense of you all made it back alive.
Yeah.
We're winning.
Absolutely.
120k was a bonus.
Absolutely.
Amazing. And what did you kind of think of like India as a whole?
Amazing country. I'd really love to go back and see more of it, because I really didn't feel like we got to see much at all. But the people were so lovely and so kind. Every time we'd pull over by the side of the road because the engine had stopped, within seconds it felt like at least one or two men would be there. Hello, opening the back of the tuk-tuk, trying to work out what happened, fixing the problem. People wanted to take photos of us and selfies everywhere, and waving and smiling. It was it was really lovely.
Gosh.
Really lovely.
Full
Loved
circle.
it.
Honestly, incredible.
Adventure of a lifetime.
Definitely.
Really is.
Yeah,
Planning the next one, I imagine, knowing you.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things, suggestions being on open top jeeps across Morocco. Someone posted something yesterday about driving from Perth to Cairns across the whole of Australia.
Wow.
So all sorts of things are being discussed, and I'm up for it all.
Having done India, everything else is just going to be
Exactly.
a breeze.
I'm looking forward to driving around the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. I think
that'll be
the roundabout with about 8 lanes. I think
like
that'll be a
Bangalore.
doddle. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, honestly,
Congratulations.
so many
Really
congrats.
fabulous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome
Amazing.
home.
Oh, it's lovely to be
Well
home
done.
in my safe little space.